What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Open Great League format. And I tell you what, after I watched the European National or the European Regional Championships and then the Regional Championships that took place over at Indianapolis, I became really hyped on PvP to run some more like meta really strong picks in Open Great League. This season I've kind of been messing around with some different spicy like off meta picks and just having fun, but I really got inspired to kind of run some more try hard teams and practice my matchups and try out some really strong teams. So this first team here, I'm running with Medicham and then 2 ice types in the back. Walrein is just insanely powerful in the Open Great League meta. We saw it all over the place at the regional championships, and I think Charm, Alolan, Ninetales really has a solid spot in Open Great League as well. This is a somewhat ABB style team with 2 ice types in the back, so oftentimes you will see me switching out of the lead and going into Walrein to potentially try to bait out a steel type. But let's jump right into these battles. So Azumarill in the lead is kind of awkward. Now technically in the 2 shield, XL Medicham can hang with this alright, but I do not want to have to tank a play rough on my Medicham. I don't want to have to tank that super effective damage, so I do opt to go into my Walrein here, and they have a Shadow Kanto Ninetales, and it looks like it's running Ember, so it's doing more fast move damage. They call my Icicle Spear bait, which was a really nice play on their part. The thing is, I don't necessarily want to win switch advantage here. I more so want to get a shield advantage because my whole team is kind of neutral against Azumarill. Charm, Alolan, Ninetales will be able to do a decent amount of fast move pressure, but really all I'm looking for there is a shield advantage, and I was able to get it. I was also able to have my Alolan Ninetales avoid this fire type, which is really good for me. So I'm going to tank a Weather Ball, and they are not able to get to another Weather Ball, thank goodness. Out comes the Sableye, and I now recognize that the Alolan Ninetales is going to be my win condition here. So I'm definitely going to commit both shields on my Alolan Ninetales, knowing that it has play against the Sableye and will be able to take out this Azumarill as well. I just need to guarantee that the Sableye will not get to a return. And at that point, they know that the game is over because of all my loaded energy. Alolan Ninetales was going to go to town there. Good game. Okay, Larantis in the lead. This thing gets to moves very quickly when it's running Fury Cutter. Fury Cutter is hitting Medicham for neutral damage. Gonna throw this Ice Punch. It would hit for super effective, and Larantis is pretty glassy, so that would do a good chunk of damage. They go for the Leaf Blade there, and we end up CMP tying on the second move. I will shield this Leaf Blade to get this Ice Punch off, and if they opt to double shield, I most likely am going to get out of this matchup. So I'm going to swap into Walrein and see what they have going on in the back. They bring out a Deoxys. Defense Deoxys is kind of good against this entire line. It definitely has play against Medicham. It's very strong against Walrein, and it has play against the Alolan Ninetales. But the thing is, most Defense Deoxys are not running Rock Slide. They typically run Psycho Boost and Thunderbolt is the most common moveset in the current Great League meta, which means that Alolan Ninetales has a little bit more play there because you're both hitting for neutral damage. I'm going to soak this energy on Medicham and just hope that my Alolan Ninetales has play against whatever in the back, but I had a feeling that there was going to be a steel type back there, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to break through this G-Fisk even though we are up a shield. Now, if I would have gone for the Earthquake on that Ninetales and they no-shielded it, I would have flipped switch advantage in my favor. That would have been very good for me. I would have been allowed to have the Medicham on the G-Fisk and then have my Alolan Ninetales to be able to handle that Defense Deoxys, but unfortunate. Definitely could have fought for switch advantage a little bit harder in that secondary matchup. Good game to my opponent. Talonflame in the lead. Kind of another difficult lead for this line of 3, but I'm going to stay in with the Medicham and shield this up regardless of what it is. They opt to go for the Flame Charge, which really tells me that they're going to be committed to staying in this matchup. So I'm going to bait them with Ice Punch and most likely get a shield. And then here I'm going to throw Psychic after throwing 4 counters. because I know that I would lose the CMP tie. They let the Psychic go through, and then I'm going to swap into my Walrein. Unfortunately, I knew this was going to do a lot of damage. I was anticipating that they were going to Brave Bird me there, but they actually swapped out. We have another Larantis on the field here, but I'm going to be able to get to an Icicle Spear and burn that shield. Now, Larantis does have access to Leaf Blade and Superpower. That's the typical moveset, so they opt to go for Superpower and then they switch out. Out comes the Nidoqueen. This is not looking good at all. I'm going to get Poison Jab down by this Nidoqueen. I need to try to get to an Ice Punch on my Medicham, but they are ahead on energy, so they will be able to get to this Earth Power before I can throw an Ice Punch. It's going to take me out. Charms are resisted here, but I'm really hoping that I can charm this down and then have just enough energy to throw a Weather Ball onto that Larantis to be able to take it out. They throw the Poison Fang. One more Charm KOs the Nidoqueen, and I have just the right amount of energy to take out this Larantis, and they do survive, but we're able to charm it down and take that game there. Good game. Medicham into Machamp, very positive lead here. Out comes an Azumarill, so I'm going to try to handle this the same way. I'm going to chip it with a Psychic and then eventually make a move into my Walrein. Medicham is definitely the best response to Shadow Machamp on this team, but obviously Charm, Alolan, Ninetales has a lot of play as well. Now I'm hoping that I can put this in like Earthquake plus Powder Snow down range, because then I will have loaded energy to threaten that Machamp as well, and will maximize this matchup. I can no shield this because there's no way that they're going to be able to bubble me down before I can Powder Snow them down. So able to farm down that Azumarill. Out comes the Machamp once again. And gonna throw this Icicle Spear. They let it go because they know that this Machamp is going to be hard punished against the Medicham. And what is in the back? It is an Altaria. This is absolute hard counter city. I had all of my Pokemon aligned right where they needed to be. Throwing the Psychic on the Azumarill was a really smart play just to guarantee that the secondary matchup would still go in my favor, because obviously having a Alolan Ninetales on the Altaria is much more positive than having the Medicham on the Altaria, so maintaining switch advantage there allowed me to safely maintain that advantage. Good game. Okay, I ran into so many Shadow Swampert leads with this team, so you're going to see a handful of battles of me playing out different scenarios. In this particular example, my opponent throws on the CMP tied to the Ice Punch, and I do sneak a counter through there. I'm going to throw an Ice Punch and then attempt to catch a Hydro Cannon on my Walrein, most likely. They were right at the energy for the Hydro, so I am able to successfully catch this. People that run Swampert, typically there is at least one anti-grass in the back, because Swampert is double weak to grass. Typically it's paired with the Skarmory, but in these upcoming games you'll see a variety of anti-grass Pokemon that are paired with the Swampert. I went for the Earthquake because I knew I was only going to be able to get one move there, and they actually ended up shielding it, which is kind of unfortunate for me, but I'm going to be able to bring out my Alolan Ninetales here. This return is almost going to knock out my A9, so going to have to shield it. If there is a Skarmory in the back, this is going to be kind of rough. They end up having a Skuntank. So I'm going to throw this Weather Ball, and then I need to get out of here immediately and start threatening the Skuntank. They catch the Ice Punch on their Swampert, totally fine by me because I did not want to get hit by a Hydro Cannon. I'm now able to farm them down without them getting to a move, and we are able to take that game there. Good game. Medicham into Wobbuffet. Oh my goodness, this is a matchup that takes forever because of Wobbuffet's bulk. We're both hitting for resisted damage with counter as our fast move. However, Wobbuffet actually wins this matchup in all even shielding scenarios, which is insane. It is a purified Wobbuffet, so landing that return does a lot of damage. I'm forced to go for these neutral Ice Punches, which Ice Punch is really not that great of a move, but Psychic is going to be resisted, so I just have to slowly chip away with it on these Ice Punches. I know it's going to go for a return once again, but I'm hoping that I can potentially set myself up for a nice farm down scenario, kind of soft lose the lead here, and then get a head start on energy with my Walrein. So going to throw yet another Ice Punch, And this Wobbuffet cannot farm me down. They have to throw a Mirror Coat to get rid of me, but this is the perfect amount of farm. That's the perfect amount of health. I'm hoping that I will not get hit by a charge move, and I'm able to Powder Snow this Wobbuffet all the way down and almost have an Earthquake loaded coming out of this matchup. Really good for me. They end up mirroring with their own Wall Rain, and I have a significant energy advantage. So there is no need to bait here. I go straight for the Earthquake, and then I'm going to swap and see what they want to do. Now, even if this is an Earthquake, I know that my Alolan Ninetales would survive it, but they ended up going for the bait, and I called the bait successfully. At this point, I'm much more inclined to keep this healthy because I felt like they were going for the Earthquake, and it's an Air Slash Mandibuzz in the back. They are hitting for neutral damage with that Air Slash, but this Charm is absolutely chunking at the Mandibuzz, and the A9 was about to go off there. Good game. Another Shadow Swampert in the lead. Alright, let's see how this opponent wants to play. This opponent throws immediately when they have the energy for Hydro Cannon. They do not force the CMP tie at 6 Mudshots, and now they bring out Sableye, which forces me to get out of there. I save all the energy on my Medicham. This matchup, you have to shield once as the Alolan Ninetales, especially since my Alolan Ninetales doesn't have the best IVs. It really would not be able to tank that return very comfortably. And out comes a Skarmory. I am down 2 shields, but I have energy loaded on my Medicham. Gonna throw a Weather Wall here. And they end up shielding it, which I was surprised by. I'm very happy that I was able to burn a shield there. This Sky Attack is not going to be able to take me out, but they will get one more Air Slash, and I'm not able to get that Weather Wall off. Very unfortunate. They still have the Swampert. I'm going to bring out the Medicham here to throw this Ice Punch. Trying to burn that final shield, and unfortunately I lost track of my opponent's energy because I was not counting, and I get hit by a super effective Sky Attack. I really did not want that to be the case, but I am at 2 Icicle Spears here, and I really need to get rid of this Skarmory. They shield that, and then they catch on their Swampert, but at this point I'm recognizing, okay, all I need to do is farm down this Swampert and then win the CMP tie against the Skarmory in the back. So arguably what my opponent should have done is thrown the Brave Bird before leaving, or at least thrown a Sky Attack before leaving, because I'm able to win the CMP tie in the back and able to win this game. Good game, pretty close in the end game scenario there. Another Shadow Swampert in the lead. Holy cow, I've seen so many of those teams today. And this opponent is going to throw right at 5 once again. So going to shield the Hydro Cannon, especially from Shadow Swampert. I tend to want to shield the first move just to keep that Medicham healthy. I'm going to chip the Skarmory with the Ice Punch and then go into Wall Rain, because this is potentially, arguably this is kind of a mistake. I should have just gone into Wall Rain immediately, because it's looking like 2... I don't know. This might have been okay, because that chip damage that I did with Ice Punch allows me to KO this Skarmory in 2 Icicle Spears. I'm out of shields on my Wall Rain. I really thought they were going to Brave Bird me, but at this point I will be able to farm them all the way down. If they bring in Swampert, this thing is going to get destroyed by all this energy that I have farmed on my Wall Rain. And they opt to bring in the Swampert. Okay, totally fine by me. I'm capped at 100 energy here. Gonna throw 1 Icicle Spear, then throw another. Most likely they're just gonna sacrifice their Swampert, and what is in the back? It's a Sableye. So going to throw this Icicle Spear here and most likely get a shield. And I actually go into Medicham here because I'm trying to do as much fast move damage as I can on this Sableye and threaten the shield. So because that Ice Punch landed, I now only need to land like 4 charms to KO this Sableye, which is exactly what I wanted to have happen. A full health Alolan Ninetales can tank a return, no problem. So I'm going to be able to charm down that Sableye and take that game. Good game. Medicham into Umbreon, not as nice of a matchup as you might think in the Zero Shield. Umbreon can actually hang with that. But out comes Defense Deoxys, and I don't have a great response to this. I do have Alolan Ninetales, which has a lot of play against the Umbreon as well. But in reality, I just need to make sure that my Wall Rain avoids this Defense Deoxys. So I'm going to chip it with another Ice Punch and then potentially try to Charm down with the A9. Because I'm anticipating them not having Rock Slide here. So I will no shield this. and they hit me with the Thunderbolt. That's totally fine. What are they going to bring out here? They actually have their own Charm A9, so I'm only going to get to one move. Going to throw the Psyshock, and I'm really hoping that they let this go through. Thank goodness, because now, in reality, I only really need to land one Icicle Spear on this Alolan Ninetales after all the Powder Snow damage. So we're looking pretty good here. My switch clock is not up, so unfortunately I'm stuck in this matchup. I was farming up as much as possible, and then I'm going to throw this Icicle Spear after I've built up enough energy to Earthquake. I do get a shield, and I am recognizing that Wall Rain is going to be my win condition, so I'm anticipating saving my shields for my Wall Rain. If this Umbreon tries to snarl down my Medicham, it's going to eat a lot of counter damage. They're trying, but these counters are really adding up, and they throw energy right before I get to another Ice Punch. So at this point, I'm just continuing to overfarm. I know that the fast moves from the Alolan Ninetales will do a lot of damage, so I want to have as much energy loaded here as possible. Going to throw the Icicle Spear, they let that go. My Powder Snow sneaks through, and again, in reality, I really only need to land one Icicle Spear on this A9 to take it out. So I will throw this Icicle Spear, and they shield it up. Just need to get to one more. This Psyshock is going to do a nice chunk of damage, but Wall Rain is pretty bulky. I throw one Powder Snow before throwing to try to maximize my damage and energy gain there. And down goes the A9, and then we're able to Powder Snow down the Umbreon there. Good game. Alright, we have some really tough battles coming up here. Medicham mirror match here. Now, if you can successfully bait, then obviously you will be ahead in this matchup, but it's also dependent on who gets the defense drop, so we will see what happens. I do shield up the Psychic. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch bait here, and they no shield. That puts me at a big disadvantage. I'm going to try to bait Ice Punch once again, but they snuck a counter through this time around. I do get a shield, but they can easily just go for straight Psychic and know that they're going to win this matchup. So I'm farming up a lot of energy here, going to throw an Ice Punch, and I want to see what they're going to do. They let that go, and out comes a Trevenant. I go immediately into my Wall Rain, but arguably I should have went into my Alolan Ninetales. I really should have went into my Alolan Ninetales and saved this Wall Rain for the Trevenant in the back. Because now I have my A9 to deal with the Trevenant, and this is very unfortunate for me. Gonna go for this Earthquake here. My opponent is making all of the correct calls, unfortunately for me. They're up a shield, they still have a healthy Trevenant, and the charm damage is just not going to be enough. If my switch clock came up like a microsecond sooner, I would have been able to preserve that Wall Rain with loaded energy for the end game, but nope, that is not going to be able to happen. I tried to catch a move on my Medicham, really tried to catch the Shadow Ball there, but instead I'm going to be able to throw this Ice Punch, but the Trevenant can shield, farm me down. They actually got worried about how much energy I had, but they built up to 100. They have a Seed Bomb stored here, as well as a Shadow Ball. I will survive this Shadow Ball, but I need to be able to charm down this Trevenant, and it's just not going to be able to happen. I have to throw energy here, and my opponent's Wall Rain did leave with a move stored. Really nice play, really close game, and yeah, tough battle there, but really exciting match there. Good game. Medicham into normal Swampert. So again, kind of a neutral lead here, but I do anticipate there being some sort of a steel type in the back, and on the off chance that it's a Registeel or a G-Fisk, I have to make this swap eventually. So they bring out a Skuntank, Shadow Skuntank. I will shield up the Crunch. They get the defense fell, which is really unfortunate here, because this doesn't allow me to get to as many moves, but I'm going to throw the Icicle Spear, and they no shield it. So they're just sacrificing their Skuntank. And so at this point, I know that they're fine with losing switch advantage. They're going to get a farm with whatever they end up bringing in. They bring out their Swampert, and I'm going to get mud-shotted all the way down. This is really bad for me. So I bring back in my Alolan Ninetales, and I'm really hoping that they don't have Sludge Wave. I no-shield this, and oh my gosh, they land the Sludge Wave in the back of Sableye. It's game over. My opponent absolutely outplayed me there. Really well played. Good game. Sirfetch'd in the lead. Favorable for me. Out comes a Hypno, and this is kind of an awkward scenario here. In hindsight, I should have immediately gone into my Alolan Ninetales, but I chip it with an Ice Punch. Okay, I'm going to shield up whatever this first move is just to try to get a read on what Elemental Punch they're running. They are running Thunder Punch, which means I won't be threatened by this next move. Ideally, I want to be able to charm them all the way down and then have loaded energy coming out of this. I am down a shield once again, though. We are in a shield deficit. They still have that Sirfetch'd, and I know that if the Sirfetch'd gets a jump start on energy, it potentially might have Brave Bird, which would be able to one-shot my Medicham. The Skarmory is able to get a lot of energy. It's not looking great. So I definitely need to bring out my Walrein here. But their Sirfetch'd is still so healthy. I'll throw this Icicle Spear right here and see what they want to do. They have a lot of energy loaded on their Skarmory. They bring in the Sirfetch'd, and I swap my Medicham immediately. I really need to get rid of the Sirfetch'd, so I'm going to let the Leaf Blade go. And we CMP tie on this Ice Punch. That is so unfortunate. I have to shield this because there's no way I can Powder Snow down that Sirfetch'd without it getting to a move and me taking a lot of counter damage. Able to farm it down. They still have the Skarmory, and they farm me all the way down. They have so much energy loaded on their Skarmory. I sneak a Powder Snow upon entry. If they Brave Bird me here and I survive it, I might have play, but they go for the smart, safe play of double Sky Attack. And they are able to take me out. Really nice plays from my opponent there. Another Azumarill in the lead. We're going to chip it with a Psychic and then eventually make a move into our Walrein here. So gonna throw the Psychic. I always get to the Psychic right before the Azumarill gets to its 6th bubble for the play rough. Out comes a Defense Deoxys. Not ideal. But in the 2-shield scenario, if your opponent is opting to go for the Thunderbolts, it ends up being not that bad. I sneak a Powder Snow through there, always good. And I will shield up the Thunderbolt. That's a lot of energy shielded. Gonna throw an Icicle Spear here and see if my opponent shields in return. They do end up shielding, so I'm going to throw another Icicle Spear to chip. They get a counter through. And hoping that I can get to one more Icicle Spear here, I'm able to do it. And this is a beautiful scenario. They end up shielding, and it's a CMP tie. That is the best possible thing I could have asked for. I can now come in with Medicham, farm this down. I don't care about any energy that it throws. I still have a fairly healthy Azumarill that I'm going to have to deal with, though. So I'm anticipating that they're going to throw their move immediately, and they do, so I catch it on my Alolan Ninetales. It ends up being an Ice Beam. Really solid play there. And at this point, I'm thinking that whatever's in the back is weak to this Alolan Ninetales. They are staying in, so I will shield this up. They do go for the big move of Hydro Pump. And it is a freaking Umbreon in the back. You absolutely love to see it. Gonna throw this Weather Ball here. The Weather Balls really do not do that much damage to Umbreon, but the charms are definitely adding up over time. And I can easily tank this Last Resort, no problem. Gonna throw this Weather Ball. And then make a move into my Medicham. Throw one counter and then throw the Ice Punch. And down goes the Umbreon, and then we can easily get to an Ice Punch here to take out the Azumarill. They had a very bulky team of Medicham, Azumarill, and Defense Deoxys there. We're able to take that game. Good game. One more battle for the video here. Skarmory. I actually enjoy seeing the Skarmory in the lead because then I know that my Alolan Ninetales doesn't have to deal with it. Now, there is a chance that there could be a Swampert in the back. Now, my opponent, there's no need for them to shield even these first 2 Ice Punches, and I really make a misplay here. I should have thrown these Ice Punches way sooner, because now I'm going down 2 shields, and my opponent could easily no-shield this Ice Punch and take it a 2-shield advantage. But they do end up shielding, and this is actually way better for me. The more shields that are committed, the better this matchup is for Medicham. They end up having a Scrafty, so definitely weak to Medicham. But shields are down. They're going to throw this Power-Up Punch. And then I'm really hoping that I can try to get to Icicle Spear and Earthquake. But I'm unfortunately going to be 2 Powder Snows off. And so I just throw one more Powder Snow to get to this Icicle Spear, and they actually snuck an invisible counter through. It just didn't register because down goes my Walrein. Now my Alolan Ninetales can safely absorb this damage from the Scrafty, so I'm going to bring it out. One Charm feints the Ninetales, and I'm looking to go immediately into my Medicham here, because I thought that they were going to bring in the Skarmory and throw energy, but they actually end up having an Umbreon in the back. So Skarmory, Double Dark, we're looking pretty good here. I just need to keep my Alolan Ninetales nice and healthy. They're farming up a lot of energy with their Umbreon. They cannot farm me down, so they bring out the Skarmory to finish me down, and then they're going to throw a move here. I really thought this was Brave Bird, but they only have enough energy for Sky Attack, and we're going to be able to take out that Umbreon in the back there. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I will see you all in the next video. Best of luck with your battles.